These are my favorite weeks of the year, when I get to sit back and actually enjoy an otherwise terrible movie.
How could I not enjoy it? Hello, Pierre Kirby kicking loads amounts of 80s action-sploitation ass in a paper-thin plot that's clumsily spliced into another movie? Sounds exactly like something that's up a cinema snob's alley.
Hey, it is when it has Pierre Kirby in it.
Like American Commando 3 Savage Temptation, this is one of the un-IMDb'd entries of Pierre's filmography, one that I missed while doing Pierre Kirby Week. Truth be told, though, I actually did come across this movie when doing my research for that week. The Pierre Kirby movies all have about 5 or 6 alternate titles attached to them, and in the case of Dressed to Fire, that's what I thought happened. I thought it was an alternate title to another Pierre Kirby movie.
How could I have carelessly thought that? Because the back of the box has still shots from American Commando 2 Hunting Express. Look, there's Sean O'Dell doing his Keith Coogan face again. And what makes it even worse is that Sean O'Dell is not in Dressed to Fire.
So after seeing the trailer for this film, it quickly dawned on me that not only is this a different Pierre Kirby movie altogether, but that the distributor, Videotech, only wanted to sabotage Pierre Kirby Week.
Interesting side note here. This box cover was sold in an auction that was selling only the cover and another movie. No, see for yourself. 39 steps? What? Never thought I'd say this, but sorry, Alfred Hitchcock. I've got a Godfrey Ho movie to watch. Funny how the box cover features stills from the wrong movie, and the movie in the box is neither of those movies.
Ah yes, classic Godfrey Ho style opening scene, slowly driving away from the VHS static, suspenseful as hell. Wait, what? American Commando 4, Dressed to Fire?
Yeah, I'm sure this follows in perfect continuity with the villainous Pierre Kirby movie, the buddy cop Pierre Kirby movie, and this non-Pierre Kirby movie, which I'm sure is good since it looks like it was delivered to us by angels?
It's got another alternate title, which is Advent Commando 3, Dressed to Fire. It's part 3 instead of part 4, since they took out Savage Temptation. Well, don't do that. That'll just make everything confusing. Well, you gotta expect things to get a little clusterfucked when it's based on a story by AAV Creative Unit. Sounds like a script bot from Futurama. This is the movie's villain, Lamar, and... wait, what? Solomon?
All alone today, huh, Solomon?
Who the hell are you? Ted Fast?
Of course Solomon is the villain here, but in case you haven't figured out that he's the bad guy, just wait for the sinister 80s villain stinger.
We're just in time, too, because we've caught Lamar during target practice. He really wishes he had the exploding tree gun from Rollerball. Never mind that, though, because he's got some serious antagonistic work to be doing. Huh, Pierre Kirby looks a little feminine in this movie. Oh wait, never mind, it's Mr. B natural. So Mr. B wants out of the prostitution business, where she seriously cornered the market for those with a Mary Martin fetish. Instead of letting her go, Lamar decides to kill her, which joke's on him when she returns as Catwoman. I don't know, though. I'm not sensing the Solomon-style anger that was felt in his performance in Thunder the Gigantic Serpent.
He should add a little something extra to the end of his lines.
And if she fights back, then the world will have one less bitch on heat to deal with.
Now it's perfect. The Solomon laugh. Ha 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 ha!
Think of the power I will have! Ha!
Unfortunately for him, though, that girl had a boyfriend named Nick. A man known to be sort of a badass, who just so happens to be good with weapons. Can we see the grand entrance, please? The hell? Where's my squeeze sound? God damn it. Perfect. A fart joke.
It's now up to Pierre Kirby to chop and shoot his way through miscellaneous henchmen and spout off those Kirby one-liners we've all come to know and love.
James dead? What are you talking about? You'll never get an Academy Award with a line like that, James.
You know, at this point, I think Pierre Kirby has earned the right to also make fun of the movie.
Lamar continues with business as usual, and I know that this movie doesn't follow any of the action of the previous American Commando movies, but 15 minutes in, this is starting to feel like a movie where I did miss previous installments.
Now what's happening with Robert? Has he settled the score with Mandy yet?
I don't know who these people are!
Well, Mandy's friend Raymond is in the way. I thought Robert sent Simon to take care of him.
Fuck, I don't know who they are either! This is like going to a class of 85 reunion when you graduated in 96!
But once Pierre fucks up one of Lamar's drug deals, Lamar sends Eric Stoltz and his best men to take him out. As if those guys wouldn't have already been wandering aimlessly in the woods, waiting for Pierre Kirby to kill them, regardless of who sent them. The hell? Where did he duck off to? Look at that! Where did he go that made it impossible for this henchman to see him?
I'm assuming he just teleported across the forest. It's Pierre Kirby. I'll buy it that he has magical powers.
And you better believe that those magical powers involve Godfrey Ho's trademark tuck and roll maneuver. A fight like this, though, is rather easy when one of the villains has never fired a gun before. Eventually, Pierre happens upon a big exchange between Lamar and... holy shit, fucking General Karpov?
Good idea. Of course we have to get rid of him, idiot.
General Karpov and Solomon in the same scene together. You don't understand. This is the Godfrey Ho equivalent of Blofeld having a conversation with Goldfinger. Although since this is only an hour and 4 minutes into the movie, Pierre can't kill the main villains yet. He's still got henchmen to attend to.
That's right. It shoots.
But what it cuts to shortly after, I can barely even explain.
No, really. I'm kind of at a loss. It's something I never thought I would see in one of these movies. You want to see it? You want to see Dressed to Fire get all dramatic? Well, here it is. Pierre Kirby crying. Don't look at me. You'll find no jokes here. Badass.
Now Pierre is fully equipped to take out his revenge on Lamar, and what would a Godfrey Ho finale be like without cigarettes and lifted music? Pierre and Lamar have their one-on-one, and in an 80s action movie, a stab to the balls is equally as fatal as a stab to the heart. Nothing left to do after that but walk off into the sunset.
Now, since this is a Godfrey Ho film, yes, there is another movie that all of this footage is spliced into. But do we really care, though? Okay, fine. What's this other movie about?
Movie B features a character named Alan, whose friends and family are constantly harassed by a local crime organization.
Huh? Don't ask questions. Pay it, Buster.
A little hard to take this seriously when the mobster sounds like Jerry Lewis.
You're a fool. You're gonna be really sorry for this. I'll kill you.
As if you couldn't guess, these gangsters are under the leadership of Lamar, who gracefully edits himself in with the other characters. Most of these guys just roam the streets beating up random people.
Charlie Chan, you watch it.
Charlie Chan? Well, at least he's played by an Asian guy this time.
Even the prostitutes are in on this shit. Don't worry though, this guy was saved by the fact that the full screen ratio decapitated her. Alan ends up saving a friend of his, which causes the gang to strike against Alan. You know, shooting him could have worked, but if butcher knife wielding street toughs is your thing, so be it. After being impressed by Alan's fighting skills, the gangsters hire him to be their bodyguard, which he accepts, seen here making sure the music doesn't get too suspicious. Pierre Kirby pops in to remind us that he's in this movie too, and I'll admit, at least they tried matching backgrounds here. Not only do we see someone standing in for the woman from movie B, but the lighting from that footage looks like it's reflecting off of Pierre's face. Quite a step up from the pool cover background in Full Metal Ninja, or even later in this film, when a bar scene is matched with a sleeping bag hanging up behind Lamar. But when the father of Alan's love interest owes money to the gangsters, Alan does what he can to protect all of them from Lamar's men. And I guess he's also protecting them from the musical threat that the Toxic Avenger will show up at any minute. The gangsters then become responsible for the death of Alan's mom, which only pisses him off even more.
You'll be able to apologize to my mother.
Holy shit, he just punched the end off of that sentence.
And there's a villain in this section who tries to match the evil Solomon Lamar laugh, but...
Come on, don't be frightened. I'll be very gentle with you, my darling.
I will admit, though, that this scene is useful for the funniest cut in the film.
Either he fucked her with a bolt of lightning, or he's a superhero, and that's his scene transition.
So much shit is happening to Alan, you'd think it'd call for a revenge-seeking montage. Huh, is that a montage I sense coming? Oh no, it's just a dweeby guy walking across the street.
I miss Pierre Kirby already. But whatever. Let's get to the heartwarming brother-sister reunion. Nice. Well, I did always say that the movies I review should be a little more Kubrickian.
But seriously, Clockwork Orange music?
Yeah, great that this tender moment shares the same music as a scene that showed Alex DeLarge storing items that he stole off of people who he raped.
Not that this tender moment lasts long anyway. The love interest is killed off with a picket fence. Now Alan has to track down those responsible for killing his girlfriend.
Congratulations, Movie B. It's taken you an hour and 18 minutes, but your plot is finally identical to the Pierre Kirby plot.
Alright, let's check out the showdown. Hey, that's the music from the Ted Fast vs. Solomon fight from the end of Gigantic Serpent.
How dare they steal music from that? Even though it's actually just a sped-up version of Neverland by Sisters of Mercy.
Sorry, I just like that this Godfrey Ho movie lifted music from another Godfrey Ho movie that was lifted off of something completely unrelated. All this fighting Alan is faced with, I sure hope that a random character from earlier in the movie shows up for no reason.
Alan,
What are you doing here?
to help you get these bastards, what do you think?
Right.
Perfect! Now that plot is settled.
Yawn, yawn, so sleepy. I don't care about anything in that story, and neither does this fucking box cover. Pierre Kirby graces the cover, for one, and the paragraph describing Pierre Kirby's plot is over twice as long as the paragraph describing Alan's plot. Which is funny in that the Alan story takes up about 85% of the movie's running time.
Truth be told, Dressed to Fire is not a good introduction to the greatness of Pierre Kirby. Pierre is probably only in about 10 minutes worth of screen time in this, and in all the others, yeah, the Godfrey Ho footage most always takes up less space than the archive footage, but the Ho scenes are usually spread out in a good consistency throughout the movie. In Dressed to Fire, Pierre Kirby comes in about 20 minutes in, and then it'll cut to other stuff for about 45 minutes before cutting back to him.
This movie does have balls for assuming that I'd want to see anything else in it other than Pierre Kirby, but like the finale of the film, those balls should be stabbed. Twice.
You know you'll never defeat me.
3 months, fool.